Hello one all, it's my review of Dr. Stone, chapter 147, Science Journey. And we open up with a story about the legendary Sunstone, a strange magical relic used by the Vikings of long ago to find the sun and guide them to the US, even before Christopher Columbus, though probably after a few other countries. I mean, there's a whole lot of theories and speculations on who exactly made it to the US first. We have a fairly good idea of when the Vikings came, long before Columbus. Anyone else, a little less clear. But for the science team, their method of mapping their exact coordinate and location by using the hourglass and the sundial to find the exact time, somehow. Little unclear on that. I'm guessing the sundial works during the day and the hourglasses are for at night. And they should make sure both are timed up correctly and it works properly. Also, we finally got an update on Tsukusa's little sister, little Mirai. She's so excited about the hourglasses, and sadly, though, she is definitely still back in the Ishiyami village. I was hoping she was a stowaway. We just hadn't seen her yet somehow, some way, but no. Silka's revived, finally cured, finally reunited with sister, and immediately left for a 3-month journey to the U.S. That's a little sad, big brother. Just saying, that's a little sad. And you just gotta love how everyone is shipping Rory and Chrome, saying, "Oh, you can use your messages back and forth, send sweet love to one another." Unfortunately, though, they are so far apart, the only thing that can really get through is essentially Morse code. Little dings in the bell, which they can use to find the exact time. Well, we can use that to find the time difference between Japan and where they are right now, to find the longitude, and then to find latitude. All you need is the sun, so as long as the sun keeps shining, they'll be able to reach the US with no problem. Oh, that's a problem. I do love this line here. "You just had to say it, dear Senku. It's almost as if when you were born, you assigned full stats to intelligence, willpower, and effort, but 0 to luck." Which, yeah, that's fairly accurate. I think his charisma is also pretty low, and basically everything else except willpower and intelligence. But thankfully, Chrome is on the case, and he knows exactly what to do. And I just gotta love how he asks Kohaku to carve down the perfect prism with your gorilla power. And then there's really not even mention on the next page, he has about half a dozen bumps on his head, meaning that she beat him fairly hard for that comment. Though then she is fully willing to do it because she thinks that he's making a gift for Rui for whatever reason, I don't know. I'm not sure why she thinks now would be the time where he would do that, so I'm sure you can make her a much nicer thing once they get to US and all the new resources never seen before. And instead he uses this calcite to find the exact location of the sun. And this is actually a new theory. I found an article from 2011 which speculated the legendary sunstone the Vikings used might have actually been calcite. And the scientists actually tested this out and were able to find the sun's location with a 1% margin of error. So if the Vikings had figured out how to use it, that would definitely have worked. Though weirdly enough, he says there were a whole bunch of calcite in the sunken ships. The article I read said the exact opposite. They hadn't found any calcite in any Viking settlements, so a little unclear on that, but either way, it works, and they create a great parallel between them and the Vikings, who first sailed the open waters thousands and thousands of years ago. Though they are actually on the wrong side. The Vikings came from the east coast, and they're coming from the west coast. Just saying. And I do just love this little moment. It's actually something I missed the first time I read it, but it's just so amazing. As Senku flashes back to when Chrome first called himself a scientist. "I'm not a sorcerer anymore. What we're going to make next with science." And now as Senku is looking at him, he's just filled with pride at how far Chrome has come from the little sorcerer he used to be. And I really like this moment. There's not a whole lot of times where Chrome can really shine. I mean, Ryu, he's the master of the weather. He can sail a ship. He can fly a hot air balloon. Francois can literally do anything at this point. She opened up a full bar in a matter of minutes. Jen is always helpful at manipulating people. Kohaku is their super strong, super fast, super eyesight gorilla. But Chrome, he's the secondary scientist. No matter what he does, no matter what he thinks of, no matter what he invents, it's always either something Senku told him how to do or something Senku could have done his own way in much less time. So for him to come up with this before Senku even had a chance, before Senku even thought of it, that's a really great moment for him, and I'm hoping we see more of those moving forward. I'm hoping we get to the US, maybe they'll end up splitting up. Chrome will go off to his own science thing, while Senku has to do a different science thing somewhere else. Makes sense, I'd like to see that. Anyway, then we get some more shots of their journey, and just, Jesus freaking Christ! The ocean is terrifying. I mean, seriously, the ocean is utterly, utterly terrifying. Even with this giant ship, even with this ship that is the pinnacle of all of human achievements, they are tossed around like a toy bobbing in a bathtub. They just have no control over what's happening, and it is utterly terrifying. If I was from the Stone Age and this was happening to me, I would be on my hands and knees praying to as many gods as I could think of on the spot to save me from dying in this freaking ocean. Wow, this is terrifying. Also get another shot of cute little Mira helping Rory get the exact time right to send to the people to make sure they're going the right way. And then things get even more terrifying for them as they come across a giant iceberg. And I mean seriously giant. This thing is like 100 times, 1,000 times the size of their ship. Honestly, I would not have wanted the ship within 10 miles of this thing. If it flips over, it will crush them. Hell, if it doesn't crush them, the wave it will create by flipping over will kill them. So yeah, the Stone Agers are fairly terrified by this strange concept, while the modern Agers are like, wow, it's an iceberg. And then they see whales, which terrifies the Stone Agers even more, which... Yes, it should. Whales are terrifying if you don't know them. I mean, these things are literally bigger than... Yeah, these things are literally the biggest thing on the planet, essentially. And seeing them pop out of the water, seeing these giants like this, it's going to terrify them. It's going to scare the living daylights out of them. I mean, once more, I'm surprised they aren't on their knees praying to whatever god that these monsters don't eat them. Really, even if whales had been explained to them before this, I don't think they would be prepared just to... see how utterly massive they are. Anyway, then Homer heads up to the crow's nest to peek out for land, and I gotta say, one little point with this chapter, it wasn't really addressed that Homura, Mose, and Hyoga, they're awake. I feel like people are gonna have problems with that, you know, because they're killers. Yeah, they're essentially all killers. Homer never directly killed anyone, but he shouldn't have a problem with Hyoga killing them. So, yeah, that could be a problem. I mean, saw someone in the comment section before say, oh, I'm hoping we have like a whole chapter of them just not getting along with everyone else and Senku like eating with them for lunch or something. Yeah, that's something we should have seen, you know? Them integrating more in society. And you could definitely argue, oh, we're going to see that next chapter. This chapter took a month. This was a full month-long, 30 straight days that this chapter was. I feel like the integration is either already done, they're already like, all right, yeah, Homer, Hyoga, and Mose, they're all part of our society now. Good for them. Or they've just been ignoring them for the last month, which is also strange. I'm not sure. That's definitely a little weird. I kind of wish that had been discussed a bit more this chapter, honestly, but whatever. Anyway, I was saying Homer is on the crow's nest, and through the telescope she spots a little bit of land. Land ho! It's the American continent. Woo! So yes, Senku and his team have finally made it to America, where they're going to grow corn. Hopefully before winter comes, and hopefully the corn hasn't mutated to the point where they can't actually use it to make alcohol. But we'll see about that. Honestly, I'm just very excited to see what exactly is waiting for them in America. I know it's been 3,000 years. I know basically everything should have turned to dust by this point, but I love to see just some structure, some things still standing, some things that haven't, been demolished by time up to this point. I think it'd be really cool, and I'm actually not sure what the plan is moving forward. I don't think they're going to grow the stuff in California. I think the plan is still to... I mean, the map originally had them going to Vegas, I think. That was their ultimate goal. Is the first crop going to be in California? Because, it's going to take quite a while to, cross the vast plains, mountains, whatever, to get all the way to Vegas, get all the way to the Great Plains. Honestly, I'm just really not sure. And once again, I just don't know what's waiting for them at 3,000 years. I mean, Japan, everything was overgrown and there were trees and plants everywhere. Could that be the same case for the Great Plains, instead of just vast lands, it's just all trees growing out, grass, everything like that. I'm really not sure what to expect. But I'm super excited to see it. Sadly, we will have to wait a little bit. There is no chapter next week. Someone at Weekly Show and Jump is sick, possibly with the virus. So they shut down for a week. They're coming back the next week afterwards, and then 2 weeks after that, it's Golden Week, it's off again. So yeah, no video next week, sad to say. I'm going to get my Air Fiorta video up sometime this week. Hopefully Wednesday is my goal. The video on the cut contents for first half volume 4, second half. Since no show and jump, I'll try to get that up early next week. Hopefully that's the game plan, but we'll see what happens with that. I've said that video is going to be up many times already, and it just keeps getting pushed back. But let me get all this down below. What do you think is waiting for America? Any remnant of the old society? Any people? I mean, that could be a whole different thing. They come across, actual people who are still walking around. I mean, very unlikely. It was a whole lot of weird circumstances that led to Senku waking up, but it is possible. I mean, the U.S., we have a whole lot of bomb shelters. Thank you, Cold War. So it's possible maybe there were some people in bomb shelters, they were deep enough underground where they weren't fully petrified. I said before I thought maybe the president would have survived, but we see in the first chapter he's actually petrified, so that's not the case. Not sure. It's possible, unlikely, but possible. We'll see what happens with that. And even if there are people, the chance of actually finding them is pretty low, given the U.S. is fairly massive. But yeah, let me think all this down below. Be sure to like and subscribe to the next video. And until then,
Peace.